All rise.
You may be seated. All right, we're back on the record. State of Florida versus Adam Matos. Defendant is present with his lawyers. State is present. For state having arrested defense, are you going to be making an opening statement?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and then you have your witnesses ready to go?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and then the state, you're ready with any rebuttal possibly that you need?
We'll do our best, Judge. We have very little insight as to what might occur.
Well, maybe this opening statement will give you a little more insight.
Yes, Judge, and just as a reminder, the opening statement is what they believe is the evidence that they intend to present to show and not limit as to what we previously presented in this case.
Who are you telling that to?
Just stating it in open court, Judge.
That's what objections are for.
I think.
I'm sure they're going to present their opening statement as what they believe the evidence will show when they put on their witnesses. Right, Mr. McGowan?
Yes, Your Honor.
You'll get your time in closing. This isn't time for closing.
Yes, Your Honor.
Jury's on their way up, so as soon as they're seated, we'll move along. And Mr. Matos, just so you're not confused, as soon as they get done with all the witnesses except you, I'll ask you that question we talked about yesterday and the day before, okay?
Okay, Your Honor.
That's when I'll need the answer. All right, jury's ready?
Yes, Your
All right, bring him. Vince, call your first witness.
This time, defense calls Robert Dunleavy to the stand.
Robert Dunleavy, please. Good morning, Mr. Dunleavy. You want to step to the podium for me? You want to stop right there, raise your right hand, be sworn by my clerk.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, sir, if you could come around into this chair right here, that's the witness stand, and speak in a loud and clear voice for me. You have a microphone right in front of you, okay?
Yep.
Thank you, sir. We just all need to hear you. You might want to scoot up just a little.
All right.
It moves.
It's a
Great.
heavy chair.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir.
Yes.
Please state your full name for the record.
Robert Dunleavy.
Mr. Dunleavy, did you know Nicholas Leonard?
Yes, he was a friend of mine and my father's neighbor.
Did you happen to see Nicholas Leonard on the morning of August 28th, 2014?
Yes.
Where did you see him?
I stopped to see my dad as I was finishing my landscaping duties for the day, and I seen him in the driveway.
Mr. Dunleavy, you're really going to have to speak up? Or
I seen him in the driveway, and he said he was going to take a cab, and I said, well, I can give you a ride if you need a ride.
Okay. Did you give him a ride? Where did you give him a ride to?
He was going to go change the locks in the house, and
Where did you give him a ride to, sir?
I'll ride to the bar where he left his pickup truck. He
Do you
didn't
know
want
the name of the bar?
the Anchorage.
Did he talk to you during the ride?
Yes, he brought some tools with him, and he mentioned that what was going on.
Did he tell you he had a gun?
Yeah, I didn't realize until he got in my truck that he said he had one in his
Did he
pocket.
show it to you?
No.
But he had it on him?
Yes.
Did he tell you what he planned to do on that date if he saw Adam Matos?
He said he would defend and probably shoot him if he had to.
Did he say he was going to shoot him if he showed up at the house?
Yeah, if he felt threatened, yes.
Did he say if he felt threatened, or are you implying that?
I'm just saying that what he said.
His exact words were what?
If he came at him, he would shoot him.
If he came at him?
Yes.
Okay. Was Nicholas Leonard upset this morning?
Didn't seem really that much upset. More just kind of I don't know how to explain it. Just, I don't know if that's the correct word or not.
Was he angry?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, and then when he went missing, your dad called 911 a few days later, right?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Dunleavy.
Okay.
Dave Cross?
Thank you, Judge. So Nicholas Leonard needed a ride to his car because he had left it at the bar the night before, and you gave him that.
Right.
And on the way there, you had an opportunity to chat with him.
Yes, briefly.
And this is 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, somewhere in there.
It was more like 10:30.
10:30 in the morning. And one of the things Nick was talking about is he mentioned that his girlfriend, Megan, had been assaulted with a knife. He was talking about that?
Yes.
Was he concerned about that?
Yes, he wanted to go over and change the locks.
Okay. And these are all statements that were made, he was expressing concern for Megan.
Right.
Because he was concerned about the guy who had, under his understanding, threatened to kill her, right?
Yes.
Now, and when he said that he would defend himself or Megan, it was in the context of if there was a problem with this guy and this guy followed through with the things he'd said that morning, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That was your understanding of the conversation and the way you took Mr. Leonard's statements, right?
Yes.
And Mr. Leonard told you that he intended to go over there later to make sure everything was okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And one of the things he was hoping to do while he was there is possibly change the locks, right?
Yeah, that was the first thing that he was planning on doing.
Okay. May I have a moment, Judge?
You may.
No more questions.
Redirect?
Yes, sir. Mr. Dunleavy, is it true you didn't want to testify in this case?
Objection, there's relevance.
Sustain and approach. The objection is sustained.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Dunleavy, one more question.
Yes.
Did Nicholas Leonard tell you he would shoot Adam Matos between the eyes?
Yes, if he felt threatened.
Thank you, sir.
All right, are we all done?
We have no more questions.
Okay, sir, you may step down. Is he released from his subpoena?
Yes, sir.
State, you're okay with that?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir, you're good to go. You are no longer under subpoena, okay?
Thank
Actually, we ask that you retain the subpoena.
Okay, we're gonna ask him to, can he leave the courthouse?
Yes.
All right, you can leave the courthouse. Thank you, sir. Defense, call your next witness.
Judge, if we may approach.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. I'm gonna need you to step in the jury room for just a few moments. We're not done yet. Don't talk about the case. We'll get the temperature in there for this morning. It won't be long, I promise, okay?
Jury's out of the presence of the court, Your Honor.
All right. Defense, my understanding is that the only witness you have left is the defendant. Is that correct?
Yes. That's all we have available, probably the last witness, yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Matos, if you can stand up for me, raise your right hand again. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
All right, you may be seated. Before I move on to whether you're going to testify or not, your lawyer, in opening statement, stated that you in fact did commit these murders. You heard him, you were here, correct?
Yes, sir.
Are you
Just for
in-
clarification, we didn't agree to murder, homicide, yes, not specific.
that,
Yes.
okay, that you shot and beat the people and they died? I don't know any other way to put that. The homicide, okay?
Right.
That you are in fact responsible for their death. How about that? You heard him say that, yes?
Yes, sir.
And are you in agreement in the strategy that he imposed in that opening statement?
Yes, sir.
All right, you don't have any problem that he stood up there and said that you basically committed the acts which caused the death of these 4 individuals? You're okay with that?
Yes, sir.
And you had talked to them about that, and you agreed that he could do that in opening statement, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you don't have any problem with that?
No, Your Honor.
All right, and now we're to that point where I talk to you I've tried to talk to you every day about this only because it is a very important matter for you and it's your decision. So we'll go over it again. You understand that you have an absolute right to remain silent, yes?
Yes, Your Honor.
And that if you do not testify, then I am going to go ahead and read those instructions to the jury that they're not to hold it against you. You understand that?
Yes.
Now, your lawyer has now stood up and basically laid out for the jury what you're going to say. That doesn't mean you have to testify. You can still choose not to testify. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, because I don't want to put you in the spot where he did that and now you feel like you can't, you have to testify. You don't have to testify. You can choose not to testify, and I'll remind the jury that what the lawyers say is not the evidence, and they're not to consider it, and they're basically to disregard anything that the lawyer said in his opening statement because it's not evidence in this case, okay? So it's up to you personally on whether you wish to testify. So have you had an opportunity to speak to your attorneys about this matter?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you need any more time to talk to them?
No, Your Honor.
Are you currently under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or prescription medication?
No, Your Honor.
And I asked you to see it yesterday, but they could have given you something last night because, you know, getting stressful and all that. Are you currently taking anything at the jail?
No, Your Honor.
Sleep medication, cold medication, you got a bit by a, spider in the jail, any medication whatsoever?
No, Your Honor.
All right. And at this point, have you made a decision on whether you wish to testify?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, what's your decision?
I would like to testify.
Okay, then what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you stand up, and I'm going to go ahead and have you take the witness stand at this time, okay? And if the bailiffs have to reposition themselves, that's fine.
We can move the TV if it needs to be moved.
It's up to the bailiff. So usually put a chair over there to sit in. So if we need to move the TV, we'll move the TV.
I want to put these easels in there. Is that okay, Jeff?
That's fine. Can he sit in a chair? Sure. Okay. I have no problem with him sitting in a chair.
help you out.
Why don't we just put it in the hallway? You don't need the TV, do you?
No.
Dave, you think you're gonna need the TV? Yeah, we can put it behind you, great. All right, and then we'll get a chair and we'll have the deputy sit right at the back of the chair, the TV. Just make sure it's clear. No, pick one.
Thank you, ma'am.
No problem. All right, is everybody ready for the jury?
Yes, sir.
All right, bring the jury back in.
Yes, Your Honor. Jury is now entering the court, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Jury is all present and seated, Your
All
Honor.
right, Spence, call your next witness.
Professor Carl Matos.
All right, Mr. Matos, if you can raise your right hand for me, swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Spence, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Hello,
Hi,
please state your name.
Adam Matos.
Let's cut right to the chase, shall we? Adam Matos, on August 28, 2014, did Nicholas Leonard put his hands on your throat?
Yes, he did.
Did he threaten your life with a gun?
Yes, he did.
Did you get in a fight with him?
Yes.
Did you defend yourself?
Yes, I did.
Did you kill him?
Yes.
Why?
He tried to kill me.
Adam Matos, on August 28, 2014, did Gregory Brown threaten your life
Yes,
with
he
a
did.
rifle? Did he pull the trigger?
Yes.
Did you get into a shootout with him?
Yes, I did.
Did you defend yourself?
Yes.
Did you kill him?
Yes, I did.
Why?
He tried to kill me.
Adam Matos, on August 28, 2014, was Megan Brown with Nicholas Leonard when Nicholas Leonard had his hands on your throat?
Yes, she was.
Was she with Gregory Brown when he threatened your life with his rifle?
Yes, she was.
Was she with Gregory Brown when he tried to shoot you with his rifle?
Yes.
Did she say anything as he was pointing his rifle at you?
She said, "Dad, shoot him. Shoot him, Dad."
Did you defend yourself against them?
Yes.
Did you kill her?
Yes.
Why?
I felt that she was going to kill me as well.
How about Margaret Brown? Did you believe that she was trying to kill you?
Yes.
Did you fear for your life, though?
Yes.
What were your feelings when you killed her?
I was lost. I was hurt. I was in shock. I was out of my mind, and I thought that everyone was out to kill me. I felt like she was going to kill me as well.
Did you kill her?
Yes.
Did you strike her with a hammer?
Yes.
Was she bleeding a lot?
Yes.
What did you decide to do to her head?
There was a lot of blood, and to stop the blood from getting everywhere, I put a trash bag over her head.
Anything else you put over in helping putting the trash bag overhead and keeping that blood contained?
I used tape to close the bag to prevent blood from leaking out.
Was this after you had gotten into the altercation with Nicholas Leonard upstairs?
Yes, it was.
Was she dead or alive when you put the bag over her head?
She was dead.
Well, let's talk about the house at 7719 Hatteras Drive in Hudson, Florida, back in August of 2014, okay? How many bedrooms were being slept in?
3 bedrooms.
And did the house face south?
Yes.
Now, who slept in the master bedroom on the west side of the house?
Craig and Margaret?
Greg and Margaret Brown?
Yes.
I'm going to refer to this room as Greg and Margaret's room, okay?
Okay.
Who slept in the southeast bedroom on the east side of the house, closest to the front door?
Megan and I?
I'm going to refer to this as Adam and Megan's room, okay?
Okay.
How close is this room, Adam and Megan's room, to the front door?
About a few feet?
Just a few feet?
Yes.
Who slept in the northeast bedroom on the east side of the house, farthest from the front door?
Tristan?
I'm going to call this Tristan's room, okay?
Yes.
Tell us about the lock on Tristan's bedroom when you were there in August of 2014, before this incident.
When we moved there, there was just a simple doorknob with a simple lock that you could lock from the inside.
If the lock had been changed after August 28th of 2014, who would have done it?
It would have to have been Nick or Megan.
Now, the 2 bedrooms on the east side of the house, they were separated by a bathroom, correct?
Yes.
This neighborhood at 7719 Hatteras Drive, are there woods around and close to that neighborhood?
Yes.
Do you ever hear gunshots?
Yes.
How often?
Often, on a regular basis.
Just during the day or?
Day and night.
Now, Megan was out with some friends on the night of August 27, 2014, correct?
Yes.
We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But right now, I want us to concentrate on August 28, 2014. Okay? Approximately what time did Megan Brown get home on August 28, 2014?
Around 5:30 a.m.
Had she been out all night long?
Yes.
Were you worried about her?
Yes.
Were you angry?
Yes.
Why?
I was angry about a phone conversation that I had with Nicholas Leonard. He let me know that he was having an affair with Megan and that she was a whore and that he didn't want her anymore.
Sustained,
Judge, if we're going to approach?
certainly. The objection is sustained.
Without getting into those types of details, you said you talked to Nicholas Leonard and he advised you what, without getting into things like that?
He just let me know that he didn't want anything to do with her and he was done with her. He didn't want to be a home wrecker and that he was done with her.
Now, did he advise you that there was an incident that happened at the time he called you?
Yes.
And did he seem still upset about that?
He seemed upset that there was an incident that occurred that night at the bar.
And did he tell you that it had just occurred
Yes.
right when he called you?
He called me as he was leaving the bar, getting into a cab.
And tell us about what information he gave you.
Objection, Judge, hearsay.
Sustain.
Judge, if I may,
Want to approach?
please.
The remainder of that conversation is hearsay and is sustained.
Based on your conversation with Nicholas Leonard, did you believe that he and Megan would be together?
I guess, I mean, it seemed that they were intimate, so it seemed that something was going on between them.
Right. Did you believe that they would be together after that conversation with him?
From the
Mr.
way,
Matos, you got to keep your voice up just like everybody else. If you have to move the chair up, that's fine, or the microphone. There you go, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
it seemed like from after that day, they wouldn't be together.
You're also, did you and Megan get into an argument when she got home at 5:30 in the morning?
Yes, we did.
What was the argument about?
It was about the phone conversation that I had with Nicholas Leonard.
And tell us what happened.
When she came home, I asked her if she was having an affair with Nicholas Leonard. She told me that she wasn't. And when I asked her about it, she denied it. And she said that Nicholas was stalking her and that he followed her to the bar.
Without getting further into that conversation, did she lead you to think that there was nothing between her and Nicholas Leonard?
Yes, she said there was nothing going on between them.
Did you believe her 100%?
I didn't know what to believe.
Tell us what happened after that.
I got upset, pulled out a knife, and I asked her
Where'd you get the knife from?
from the kitchen. I asked her what was the truth. I just wanted to know the truth. I didn't want to hurt her. She tried to grab the knife out of my hand. She cut herself on her finger. And once I saw that she had cut herself, I put the knife down on a dresser. Tristan just woke up. So I left the house and I took my bike and I went up the road northeast.
Did you pull the knife out to hurt her?
No,
Why did you pull the knife out?
I just wanted the truth. I was upset. It was just a stupid thing to do.
Did you ever put the knife to her throat?
No,
At no time did you scratch or hurt her throat in any way?
no,
And you never put it up to her throat?
no,
You said that she grabbed the knife.
yes,
Did you expect her to do that?
no.
Where did you go?
I went northeast up the road behind a house that was empty, and I just laid down and was just chain smoking, just cooling off.
Were you riding a bicycle?
Yes,
Why did you leave?
I just wanted to give her some space, just get away from the house.
Were you able to cool off?
Yes,
Did you see law enforcement arrive at their house?
I saw law enforcement driving in that general direction towards the house.
Did they leave?
I couldn't see from that angle.
What did you do?
I stood there most of the day just sleeping, chain smoking,
Now, by the way, let me go back just a little bit. Was Nicholas Leonard there when Megan got home in the morning?
No, it was not.
Was he there when you left the house?
No,
Was he there when you guys were arguing?
no.
Did you decide to return to the house at 7719 Hatteras Drive?
Yes,
About what time was it?
between 6 and 7 p.m.
Still light outside?
Yes,
Why?
I wanted to get my things. I didn't have anything on me, so I just wanted to get my belongings. I wanted to see if I could say goodbye to Tristan and possibly work things out with Megan.
What time did you go inside approximately?
A little after 6.
And what door did you use to go inside?
The east entrance.
That one that goes into the east garage area, or the stairwell?
Yes,
It's the only door on the east side of the house, right?
correct.
Was the door open?
It was wide open, yes.
I didn't ask you earlier, but about how many dogs were in this house on Hatteras Drive?
20 dogs.
Describe them for me. Small dogs, large dogs?
Small to tiny,
How often do these dogs bark?
all the time.
How would you describe their barking?
Loud, they were barky dogs.
Did you hear them bark as you went up the stairs?
Yes, I did.
Where are the dogs kept in the house usually?
In the dining room area.
Is that downstairs or upstairs?
That's upstairs.
Okay. How far from yours and Megan's bedroom, approximately?
About 10 feet.
Now, as you walked up those stairs, did you have a gun in your hand?
No,
A knife?
no,
A bat?
no,
A hammer?
no.
What, if anything, did you have in your hands?
Nothing at all.
Tell us again what were you going to do inside the house?
I just wanted to get my things, just gather the stuff that I had.
When you had left, did
What I
you
had
bring things with you?
No,
Were you able to do that, get your things?
no,
Was the door to you and Megan's room, was it closed?
yes,
Did you open it?
yes,
Did you step inside?
yes, I did.
Did you see Megan and Tristan?
Yes, as I entered the room, they were just coming out.
Did Nicholas Leonard come up to you?
Yes,
Where did he come from?
he came from the closet area.
Were you able to see where he was coming from as far as any length of time before he got to you?
No, he just came out of nowhere.
Did he reach, I'm sorry, did he grab you anywhere?
He grabbed me by the throat.
And did he reach for a gun?
He reached into his right pocket and he pulled out a gun and he pointed it at my chest.
Did you grab his gun
Yes, I
or his
grabbed,
hand?
I grabbed his hand and I pointed it towards the ground, away from me, so he wouldn't shoot me.
Did he seem like he was trying to raise the gun toward you?
Yes,
Did you struggle to stop him from getting the gun pointed at you?
we did. We struggled.
Tell us what happened.
There was a lot of wrestling going on. We were going around the room. We ended up in the corner by the dresser, and I saw a knife on top of the dresser that I used to defend myself, and I stabbed him in the arm a few times, and he released his grip on my throat, and I dropped the knife, and we continued to wrestle around. I was trying to get the gun out of his hands, and we wind up falling on the bed.
Now, when you say bed, was there a actual bed frame, or was it just a mattress?
It was just a mattress on the floor.
And it was on the floor, you said.
Yes.
How many times did you stab him?
About 3 times.
And you said that you guys fell on the bed, both of you?
Yes.
Let me go back real quick and ask you about this knife. Did you leave this knife on the dresser?
No,
Do you have hunting knives laying around when you have this 4-year-old walking around?
no, I do not.
Are you the type of person to keep a knife on the dresser?
No,
How about under a mattress?
no.
While you guys are struggling, did Nicholas do anything to your face?
He took the inside of my cheek and he started to rip the flesh from the inside out, and he told me, "I'm going to rip your face off."
Did Megan come back?
Megan and Greg stepped into the room, yes.
And tell us what happened as you guys were struggling on the bed and Megan and Greg come back.
Megan, she screamed out, "Dad, shoot him, Dad."
Did he have anything in his hand? I'm talking about Greg.
A rifle in his hand,
Where was it pointed?
at my chest.
Did Nick do anything when he saw that rifle pointed at you?
He moved out the way. He was still pinning me down, my legs. He
Did
just
you
moved
say-
out of the way so Greg could have a clear shot at my chest.
Did you say anything to Greg?
I asked Greg, I said, "Please, Greg, don't shoot me, Greg. Don't do this, Greg."
Did Greg pull the trigger?
Yes, he did.
What happened?
It misfired.
What was going on after the gun misfired?
He was trying to get it to work again, and he repeated the steps of trying to shoot me again.
Tell me what was going on with Nick while Greg is messing with this gun. Is he getting stronger or weaker?
He seemed to be weakening.
Was he bleeding a lot?
There was a lot of blood. He was bleeding a lot from his arm.
Did Greg ever shoot the gun again the second time?
Yes, he pulled the trigger again.
And what happened?
It was a misfire again.
Tell us what happens between you and Nick Leonard.
As Greg was continuing to try to shoot the gun again, Nicholas loosened his grip on his gun, and I was able to get it out of his hands.
Did you or him shoot the gun
Yes, a shot went off towards the wall.
while you guys were struggling for the gun?
Yes,
And you said it went toward the wall?
it went through the wall.
Did it put a bullet hole through the wall?
Yes,
Tell us, was there a second shot?
yes. As I grabbed the gun, I shot it towards Nicholas.
Was Nick still bleeding from the stab wound?
Yes, he was.
Did you later find that bullet from shooting that gun the second time?
Yes, I did.
What'd you do with it?
I threw it in the trash bag.
And was that the one that was found in the garage, west garage?
No, the one that I found that I thought that hit Nicholas Leonard, I found behind the bed.
Okay. And did you end up putting that in the trash?
Yes,
While you and Nick are struggling, Greg has shot the gun twice, wasn't able to get it to kill you.
yes.
What happened with Greg and Megan?
They ran back to his bedroom, the master bedroom.
Did you know what was in that master bedroom?
He had a bunch of weapons in his closet.
Did you chase after him?
Yes,
Why?
I felt that he was going to get another weapon and try to kill me.
When you got to the master bedroom closet, what was Greg doing?
He was attempting to load another weapon.
What did you do?
I shot him in his lower back as he was trying to turn around with his weapon.
Did he go down then, or did he turn around?
No, he had the weapon in his hand, and I shot him again.
Did he go down then?
Yes.
As you leave the master bedroom closet, tell us what happens next.
As I was leaving the closet, I could see someone in my peripheral, and it was Megan, and I thought she had something in her hand, and I just reacted and I shot her.
Where was she at?
She was by the door around a corner.
And did she have something in her hand?
Yes.
What was it?
I later found it to be a cell phone.
How many times did you shoot her?
One time.
And was it around where that bead was in the master bedroom?
Where the bullet hole was in the corner of the wall.
What did you do then?
I lost it completely. I just realized that I killed the woman that I love, the mother of my child. And at that point, I realized that Tristan no longer had a mother. He no longer had a grandfather. And he no longer had me. And at that point, I felt like my life was over.
Were you angry at all?
Yes, I was very angry.
Did you place that anger on any particular individual?
Nicholas Leonard.
Why?
I was upset that he brought a weapon into my home, that he tried to kill me. He turned my family against me and tried to have them kill me as well.
What'd you do?
I went back to my bedroom and he was just lying on the bed and he was unconscious, and I was just upset, and I was just yelling out why this had to happen. I grabbed a hammer that was on the floor and I just kept hitting him until I couldn't anymore.
How many times do you remember hitting him with that hammer?
I can't remember. It was a lot of times.
Was it always with the end of the hammer necessarily that you put the nails in?
It may have slipped when I was hitting him.
What'd you do after this?
After that, I went and checked on Tristan to make sure he was okay, and he was, and I told him to stay in his room. There was a lot of blood on me from the altercation that I had with Nicholas, and I washed it off. And then I went to check up on Tristan to make sure that he was okay.
Was he?
He was okay.
What'd you tell me?
I told him everything's going to be okay. And I gave him a hug, kissed him on the cheek.
How did you feel in general after having this entire incident?
I felt just lost. My whole world was turned upside down, and I was out of my mind. I was in shock, and I felt like a part of me died that day.
Did you have any fear about the cops shooting you?
Yes, I was in fear that if the cops were to show up, that they would try to kill me as well.
How about Tristan?
I was scared that Tristan was endangered as well, that he might be in harm's way if the police were to show up.
What'd you do with all of these guns? Nick Leonard's gun?
I threw all the weapons in the canal. I didn't want any weapons in the house after that incident. I didn't want it to be a threat to anyone else or to me or to Tristan.
Were you afraid that Tristan might see those bodies?
I was afraid that he would be exposed to it, so I locked the doors to the bedrooms where the bodies were.
Yours and Megan's room, how'd you lock that door?
There's a latch on the door. It's a high latch, so he wasn't able to reach it, and you latch it from the outside of the room.
And the master bedroom?
The master bedroom, the doorknob to the room was missing, so you couldn't just step into the room, and you had to be a strong person to turn it, because it didn't have the knob there. It was just a piece of metal, and I put a dog cage in front of the door to keep him from getting in.
What did you and Tristan do?
At that point, it was very fuzzy, my memory of what happened that day. Later, I was just lost out of it, and I was just chain smoking a lot.
What happens when Margaret comes home from work?
I heard the dogs barking, and at that point I was still out of it, and I was in shock, and I was scared that people might be coming to the house to kill me.
And if you saw Margaret, did you feel that she was in on it?
Yes, I felt that she would try to kill me as well.
Where was Tristan? What was he doing?
He was in his room sleeping.
So what did you do?
I went down to the garage with the hammer that I used on Nicholas, and I killed Margaret in the west garage hallway.
You ran down the stairs and met her down there?
Yes, I did.
How did you kill her?
I hit her over the head a few times.
How many times did you hit her?
I can't remember. It was maybe
Was
more
she-
than 3 times.
Was it necessarily with the end of the hammer that...
I can't remember.
Was she standing up when you first hit her?
Yes,
And you said where did you say that was?
the west garage hallway.
Is there only one hallway like that downstairs?
Yes.
Tell us about the blood.
There was blood everywhere. To prevent more blood from getting everywhere, like what happened to Nick, I put a bag over her head to keep blood from getting everywhere.
What else did you do?
I used tape to close it off so blood wouldn't leak through.
Looking back now, do you realize that she probably wasn't out to kill you or harm you?
I realize now that she probably wasn't trying to kill me. I was just out of it and so paranoid and in shock that I thought everyone was trying to kill me.
How do you feel about her death now?
Horrible. I feel disgusted, and I loved her very much, and there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about it. I relive those memories. I relive it every day, and it just haunts me every day.
Can you put into words what that day, August 28, 2014, was like for you?
Objection, Judge, is the relevance.
Sustained.
Approach, Judge.
Sure. That is sustained.
Adam Matos, why didn't you just leave Tristan, get into the van, and drive off?
I couldn't abandon my son. I couldn't just leave him like that. He's all I had.
You could go to Canada or Mexico.
I could have.
Didn't you plan an escape once you killed these 4 people?
No.
What was your plan as far as what you're going to do with little Tristan, your son?
I didn't have any plans. At that point, I was so lost. I didn't know what to do. I was confused. I was sad. The world was just turned upside down, and I didn't have any plan.
Let's talk about Nicholas Leonard's truck. Where did you find... Well, first of all, did you see a truck parked nearby 7719 Hatteras Drive?
When I came home,
Yeah.
when I came home, I couldn't see anything from the direction I was coming from. I didn't see any truck.
There wasn't a blue truck parked in the driveway?
No.
Did you later see a blue truck parked somewhere in the vicinity?
Later on, I noticed that there was a blue truck parked far across the street,
Far across the street, in somebody else's house?
somebody else's property.
Was there a house there?
Yes,
And it was parked not on 7719 Hatteras Drive, but you said on somebody else's property?
on someone's lawn across the street.
Did you move it?
Yes,
Where?
about half a mile away.
Where was Tristan?
Tristan
When you
was,
moved the trunk?
Tristan was at home sleeping.
What'd you do with the bodies, at least initially?
I moved them out of the bedrooms into the east garage.
Now Margaret's van, where was it parked when she had got home late on the night of the 28th?
It was parked in the west garage.
Did you move it?
Yes,
Where did you move it
to the east garage.
Did you use that van to move the bodies eventually?
Yes,
We're going to talk about that a little later. August 29, 2014, the next day, she put an ad on Craigslist.
yes I did.
Did you sell the dogs and the TV?
Yes.
Why? Why'd you do that?
I needed money to feed Tristan, and I didn't have any cash.
Was any of this planned before August 28, 2014?
No, it wasn't.
Did you kill these people in order to sell their things?
No, I did not.
Use their credit cards? Did you kill them to use their credit cards?
No, I did not.
To sell or use their vehicles?
No,
Why? Why did you kill them?
they were trying to kill me.
In fact, tell us why you sold these dogs. You said there were 20 dogs there, but you sold some of them. Why only $50 a piece?
I just wanted to get enough money for food. I wasn't trying to make a large profit. I wanted the dogs to have a good home to go to. I was unable to care for them in the situation that I was in.
Did you know you could have probably gotten more for them?
I realized later that they were worth a lot more.
But how many dogs were you able to sell?
About 10 dogs.
Did you order some pizzas using Margaret's credit card?
Yes.
Why?
I didn't have any cash, and I just wanted to feed Tristan.
Did you take the silver van to Walmart around midnight on the 29th?
Yes.
Why so late?
I waited till Tristan was sleeping.
Did you buy a shovel?
Yes.
Why did you buy a shovel?
I wanted to move the bodies out of the house. I didn't know what to do with them, and I didn't want Tristan being exposed to them, so I bought the shovel to try to bury them in the yard.
And the only time you had a shovel was the day after this happened on August 29th of 2014?
Yes.
Were you working in August of 2014?
Yes, I was.
Did you have a job before you started working at Get Hooked?
Yes.
Where was that?
At Denny's?
What is Get Hooked?
It's a seafood restaurant.
What did you do there?
I worked as a cook and a dishwasher.
How far was it from 7719 Hatteras Drive?
About a mile.
How'd you get to work?
I rode my bike.
Did you have a car?
No.
Tell us how you got the bicycle.
One day when I was walking to work to Denny's,
Objective to that is irrelevant.
Okay.
Did you ride your bike back and forth to work?
yes.
Now, before we go any further, let's talk about prior record. You've been convicted of 5 misdemeanors in Pennsylvania, but in Florida, those misdemeanors would be 5 felonies, right?
Yes.
And crimes of dishonesty, you were convicted of 2.
Yes.
Well, let's get back to work and your paycheck. Did you have a check waiting for you?
Yes, I did.
Did you make arrangements to pick up that paycheck?
Yes.
What arrangements did you make?
I made arrangements with the boss to give it to one of the guys that worked in the kitchen with me, and I was going to just pick it up from him.
Did you get your check?
Yes, I did.
And did you cash it at Walmart?
No,
Winn-Dixie?
no.
How did you cash it?
I later cashed it at Wells Fargo.
And how much about was that check for?
I believe it was around $370.
Now, during these days, after you attacked and before the deputies knocked on your door, you and Tristan were ordering pizzas,
Yes,
wings,
yes,
soft drinks.
yes.
What were you doing when Tristan was watching TV or napping or asleep?
I was just trying to clean up the blood to keep him from being exposed to any of that.
Did you take care of Tristan in that house?
Yes.
Was it difficult for you to mentally stay in that house?
Objection, Judge Sullivan.
Sustained.
Was it important, though, for you to be with Tristan?
Yes.
About a week after you were attacked in your own house, did you go next door and talk to Ryan McCann?
Yes.
Did you guys decide to go to Skinny's Bar?
Yes.
How far was Skinny's Bar from your house?
About 2 miles.
How long were you guys there?
A few hours,
Could have been more.
possibly.
Where was Tristan?
He was at home sleeping.
Do you feel bad about leaving Tristan at home?
Objection, Judge Sullivan.
Sustained.
Were you drinking?
Yes.
Why were you drinking?
Just trying to escape the reality of what happened.
Did you do that some while you were there at the house?
A little. Was just
How about
trying to.
Ryan McCann's house next door?
A little bit.
When was it that you would do that?
I really can't remember. I know that we drank.
What type of day? What part of the day?
I believe it was nighttime.
Where was Tristan when you were trying to do that?
He was at home sleeping.
Why would you be out drinking next door at Skinny's Bar?
I don't know.
Objection, Judge Sullivan.
Sustained.
At some point in time, did you move the bodies?
Yes.
When was that?
I believe it was the night that I bought the shovel from Walmart.
Did you first try to bury the bodies near the house on Hatters Drive?
Yes.
Like how close to the house?
Right outside on next to the house in the grass.
How many feet?
About a few feet from the house.
Using a shovel?
Yes.
Digging a hole?
Yes.
What happened?
Was able to dig down maybe 2 feet and it hit rock, so I was unable to make a deep enough hole.
What did you decide to do then?
I wanted to get the bodies away from the house. I didn't want Tristan being exposed to all the blood and the bodies and the smell, so I attempted to put them in a van.
And is this that silver van that you had said you'd move from the west garage to the east garage?
Yes.
How were you able to move them into the back of the van?
It was difficult to move them, so I used some rope that I had found.
Before you started utilizing the ropes, did you first try moving Margaret Brown using an extension cord?
Yes.
And was there a problem moving her with the extension cord?
Yes, her arms kept moving and it was hard to move her.
Did you ever drop her loading her into the van?
Yes.
Explain that.
As I was trying to load her into the van, I dropped her a couple times.
And is that where the pool of blood was?
Yes.
And did you try using zip ties?
Yes, I used zip ties to hold her hands together just so she wasn't moving as I was pulling her.
Did you use one zip tie?
I used 3.
Was one not big enough?
It was just to hold them together.
So each hand with a zip tie and one zip tie in the middle.
Yes.
And were those in front of her or behind her back?
Behind her back.
Did that seem to help?
Yes.
What did you use to move the other bodies?
I used the rope.
And did that work better?
Yes.
Did you use the dolly that was in the photographs in some way?
Yes, I used the dolly to make like a sort of incline so I could pull them into the van.
So what door of the van did you use?
The back door.
Did you put all, what did you do with the seats?
I put the seats down.
And tell us, you said you used the dolly as an incline?
Yes.
And you put the bodies on the dolly?
Yes.
Okay, and then what did you do with the dolly?
I put the dolly on the back of the van where you step into it, and I was able to use that as like a leverage.
Did you grab the bodies just like your hands and your chest to their chest, or did you use anything else?
I just used the rope and just pulled them onto the dolly and just slide them up.
Where'd you put the rope?
The rope was around their midsection.
When you moved the body, was Tristan awake or asleep?
Tristan was sleeping.
What time of day was this?
It was late, 2 in the morning.
Why not bury the bodies?
I couldn't. It was just impossible.
The location where you took the bodies, why was it so close to the house where you lived?
I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do with them, so I didn't want to leave Tristan alone for a long period of time, so I just picked a random spot.
And why was it so close to the road?
I don't know. It was just a spot I just wanted the whole experience to be over with. The whole experience was very disturbing to me, and it was just it was very disturbing. So I just dropped them off on the side of the road.
Was it difficult moving the bodies?
Yes.
Why?
Just the experience of moving dead people, and they were.
Objection, Judge.
Explains, Judge.
I'm sorry?
Explains
Explain what?
where he put them.
That's not the question you asked, so I'll sustain the objection, you can re-ask the question.
Okay. Explain to me why you put those bodies in a place so close to where you lived and so close to the road.
I just wanted to get it over with and just get them away from the house so Tristan wouldn't be exposed to them.
And in the situation that they were in, was it difficult to handle those bodies?
Yes.
And to move them long distances?
Yes.
This may sound like a strange question, but let me ask you anyway. Did you ever use the ropes on anyone that was alive?
No.
Did you ever use the zip ties on anyone that was alive?
No.
Did you ever cover anyone's face while they were alive?
No.
Did you ever use duct tape on anyone while they were alive?
No.
When you used the ropes, the zip ties, the garbage bags, and the duct tape, were the people dead or alive?
They were dead.
How is Tristan doing at this point, from your perspective, a couple days later?
Sustain?
The reason you did this late at night and so close, did that have anything to do with your son?
Objection, Judge Relevance.
Sustained, asked, and answered. He's already answered that question.
Let's talk about moving Megan's truck. About when did you do that?
I believe it was maybe Friday.
couple days, a day or two after this incident,
Yes,
where you had to defend yourself, right?
yes.
And how did you do it?
I used my bike to get to her vehicle, and I put my bike in the trunk and drove the vehicle back to the house.
Where was it?
I parked,
Her vehicle?
when I found it,
Yeah.
it was at the Fisherman's Shack,
How far away is that from your home?
about a mile.
Did you come back right away?
Yes,
Speaking of moving things, you heard about some things being in the garage with blood on them, right?
yes.
Did you move anything from upstairs to downstairs?
I moved a few items from the room to the garage.
Was one of those the mattress?
Yes,
And I'm talking about the mattress in yours and Megan's room.
yes.
Tell us what you did with that mattress.
I moved it to the garage and I cut the topping off because there was blood all over it and I didn't want people seeing it when I put it on the curb.
Furniture or some wicker baskets, anything like that, did you move that downstairs?
Yes,
Any other things?
just trash bags.
Did you spray out the blood in the garage?
Yes,
Why?
there was a lot of blood and I just didn't want Tristan being exposed to it, so I sprayed it with the hose.
Did you try to clean up the bloody mess upstairs?
I tried to do the best I could.
Why?
I didn't want Tristan being exposed to any of it.
Did you fill up a bunch of trash cans and leave them on the curb?
Yes,
Did they pick up some of the trash?
yes.
Why didn't you put all the trash on the curb? Why was some of it still in the garage?
At that point, I just figured that it was pointless. At that point, I wasn't trying to clean up anymore. I knew that, it was only a matter of time before someone found out, so I just stopped trying to clean up.
What kind of cigarettes do you smoke?
Camel Menthol.
And how about Megan?
Camel Menthol.
And how about Greg Brown?
Marlboro Lights.
Mr. Matos, let's go back to how you met Megan Brown and found out that you're Tristan's father, okay?
Objection, Judge, relevance.
All right. Tell us what your thoughts were when you found out that Megan Brown was pregnant with your child.
Objection, Judge, relevance.
Sustained.
Why is Tristan's name Ishmael Tristan Santisteban?
Objection, Judge, again, relevance.
Sustained.
Did you have a long bond with Tristan?
Yes, we had a very close bond.
Describe that bond between the two of you.
Objection, Judge, relevance.
I'll let a little latitude on that. It's fine.
We have a wonderful bond between father and son. It's the best experience I've ever had.
Tell us about your relationship with Megan.
We were happy.
Had she always treated you well?
Not always.
Were there times when she would ask you to watch Tristan?
Yes,
Did you always make time to be a father to him?
yes, I try to make as much time as possible for Tristan.
Did at some point she tell you that her parents were moving to Florida?
Objection,
Yes.
Judge, relevance.
That's fine.
Yes,
And did she ask you to go with her and Tristan and her parents to Florida?
yes,
Did she ask you to help move furniture because of her dad's bad back?
yes,
And did your family and friends try to discourage you?
yes,
Did you in fact, try to convince her to stay in Pennsylvania?
Yes.
Sustained, counsel, as I previously ruled. Talk about the move itself, everything else is irrelevant.
Can I approach very briefly? I don't want
Sure. Counsel, move along.
to. Thank you. What was yours and Megan's plan when you got to Florida?
To,
I'll allow it.
she wanted to start going to nursing school, and we had plans of getting married.
If Tristan was not going to Florida, would you have gone to Florida?
No.
Overrule.
Before moving to Florida in July 2014, did you purchase a gun or a pistol?
No.
Did you own one?
No.
Ammunition?
No.
Gun case?
No.
How about when you got to Florida?
No.
None of those.
No.
Did Margaret Brown, did you all have an agreement to pay rent before moving to Florida?
Yes.
How much?
740.
Before moving to Florida?
Before, it was around 500.
Did it change after you moved down here?
Yes.
What was it?
Sustained.
Did Megan start to change once you started working at the Fisherman Shack?
Yes.
Overrule.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
And did she ever tell you that she was going to see other men?
No.
Did you ask her if she was seeing other men?
Yes.
Approach. I'll sustain the objection as asked and answered. We're going to move along.
On August 28, 2014, before 5:30 a.m., how did you feel about Nicholas Leonard?
I didn't feel any type of way.
How about Megan Brown?
I loved her.
How about Greg Brown?
I loved him like he was a father to me.
How about Margaret Brown?
Loved her like she was a mother.
How about Tristan Brown?
I love him very much. He's my world. He's all I have left.
Let's talk about how you felt on August 28, 2014. I asked you before August 28 how you felt, but how did you feel when Nicholas Leonard had his hands on your neck?
I felt like I was going to die.
How about when he reaches for his gun in his pocket?
I felt like he was going to kill me.
Same questions for Gregory Brown.
Yes, I felt like he was going to kill me.
How about Megan Brown in that master bedroom?
I felt like she was.
Overrule. Go ahead.
I felt like she was going to kill me as well.
How about when she yelled, "Shoot him"?
I felt like I was going to die.
How about when you heard the dogs barking and someone's in the garage about to walk upstairs?
I felt like I was going to die.
How about when you realized it was Margaret Brown?
I later realized that she wasn't a threat to me.
How did you feel then?
I felt horrible. Just disgusted.
Mr. Matos, why did you call law enforcement right after the incident with Nicholas Leonard, Megan Brown, and Greg Brown?
I was scared that the police would try to shoot me if they found out that I just killed those people.
Any other reasons why you didn't call law enforcement right after that?
I was in fear for my life. I was scared. I lost my mind.
Why didn't you call law enforcement right after the incident with Margaret Brown?
I felt like, my life was still in danger, and I was scared that if I was to call the cops, that they might put Tristan in harm's way.
Why did you lie to the police and tell them that you never returned to the house after the incident on the morning of August 28, 2014?
I didn't want to lose Tristan. I felt like they wouldn't believe me.
Why did you lie to the reporter and tell them you never returned to the house after the incident on the morning of August 28, 2014?
The same reason I didn't want to lose Tristan. He's all I have, and I felt like if I was to share that information at that time, that I would be putting myself in danger.
It's been 3 years. Since then, it's been 2 weeks of testimony. Why are you saying this now?
I just want my chance to get the truth across to the jury and the court and tell the truth, the story that really happened, and share with you the story that the state is trying to hide from you.
Mr. Matos, let's talk about September 4, 2014. You said it was August 28, 2014, when you were forced to defend yourself at your house.
Yes.
Now the days have rolled by. The 29th, Friday, Saturday the 30th, Sunday the 31st, Monday the 1st, Tuesday the 2nd, Wednesday the 3rd, now September 4th, 2014, a week later. Had you been at 7719 Hatteras Drive pretty much the whole time?
Yes.
Had you booked a flight?
No.
Anything out of state, out of the country?
No.
You had access to the blue truck, right?
Yes.
You had access to Megan's Blazer.
Yes.
You had an RV in the driveway.
Yes.
On the morning of September 4, 2014, the police, specifically a deputy for the Paso County Sheriff's Office, drives up, parks their car, and knocks on the front door, right?
Yes.
Are you home then?
Yes, I was.
Do you see him?
Yes, he was at the front door. I could see him from Tristan's room where I was sleeping.
Did you hear him?
I heard him knocking at the door, yes.
What did you see him do?
He walked back down the steps, and I believe he went into the garage.
What did you tell your son, Tristan?
I told Tristan to wake up and get dressed.
What did you guys do?
We packed a bag of just a few things, and we exited out of the garage pool area.
Where did you guys go?
We walked behind a neighbor's house towards the west end of the street, and we stood behind an empty house until it got dark.
Were you walking close to the canal?
Yes.
Why did you wait from August 28th to September 4th to leave your house?
I don't know. I had nowhere to go. I just wanted to stay with Tristan and make sure that he was taken care of, and I didn't want to abandon him, so I had nowhere else to go.
And you waited until law enforcement knocked on the door before you left?
Yes.
Please tell us what you guys, you and Tristan, did to get from 7719 Hatteras Drive to the Floridan Hotel in Tampa, Florida. Take your time.
Once it got dark, we walked to the end of the street, to the cul-de-sac, and I found a canoe that was on the dock, and we both got into the canoe, and we went across the canal to the next neighborhood across the way, and we walked a few blocks, and there was a house by the canal, and there was a bench to sit on by the water, and we just looked at the boats, and Tristan laid down and he laid his head on my lap, and he was about to fall asleep. So I wanted to get him somewhere comfortable where he could sleep and get something to eat, and I didn't want him sleeping in the street like that. So I called a taxi. The taxi picked us up, and we went to a gas station or a store that was called Circle K. We just bought some snacks, some drinks, and we went to Tampa, to the bus station. That's where we got dropped off. And I asked the guy there if there was any buses going out. He said no, so we left, and we went to a hotel around the corner. There was a man in the street that approached us, and he offered to walk us to the hotel. And we checked in at the hotel, and we got a room.
Did you have a reservation?
No,
How'd you pay?
cash.
At this point, I want to ask you about weapons and guns. Did you have any guns with you?
No,
You said you got rid of all the guns and weapons.
yes.
The Celtic pistol that Nick was trying to shoot you with.
I threw it in the canal.
The rifle that Greg tried to shoot you with.
I threw those in the canal as well.
That's the one that jammed.
Yes.
How about the one he was trying to shoot you with in the closet?
I threw it in the canal.
All the other rifles and shotguns.
All in the canal.
Ammo.
In the canal.
Something about a crossbow or a compound bow.
That went in as well.
How about a hammer
In the canal.
and a knife?
The canal.
When you went into the canoe and put Tristan in there and rowed it across the canal, did you have any weapons on your person
No.
or on your property?
No.
Did you end up eventually checking into the Florida Inn Hotel?
Yes.
And when you were in Tampa with Tristan, did the police play some kind of ruse to make you come out of your hotel room?
Yes, they did.
And tell me about that.
I woke up.
I'm sorry?
Objection to the relevance.
Overruled.
I woke up at 5 in the morning to a phone call from the front desk. The man said that I had to change rooms because the electricity wasn't working in that section of the hotel. So I woke up and I told him it wasn't necessary. We were going to check out soon, but he insisted that I come down and switch rooms. I woke up and I told Tristan that everything was going to be okay, that I probably wasn't coming back, so I just wanted him to know that everything was going to be okay and that I love him very much. Told him that I was sorry that things didn't go the way we planned it to be.
Objection to the relevance.
Sustained unresponsive. I don't believe that's the question you asked, counsel, so we'll move on.
Tell us what you did with Tristan, just what you did.
I just gave him a hug and a kiss on the cheek, and I left the room.
And then what did you do?
As I left the room, I could see something move in my peripheral, and it was black. And at that point, I felt like I was in danger. I didn't know what was waiting at the end of that hallway, considering the situation that I was in. So I approached with caution, and as I reached the end of the hallway, I put my hands up. And when I got to the end of the hallway, there was maybe 30 or more people in black clothing with weapons pointed at me, and I surrendered. They tackled me to the floor, and one of them punched me in the back of the head as he was cuffing me.
Objection to the relevance.
Sustained unresponsive. Again, Mr. Matos, if you could answer the question that's asked. I don't believe any of that was asked. So stepped out and he was arrested. Let's move on.
Did you give up peacefully?
Yes, I did.
Ms. Chalk, very briefly, hold on a second. Can I just a moment, Judge?
You may.
Thank you. Just a few more questions. I'm not sure I got out all that information about the bullets. I want to talk to you about that. 2 shots went off in yours and Megan's room.
Yes.
You're not sure if that one bullet entered Nick or not, right?
Sustain.
What happened to that bullet that went through the hall, I'm sorry, the wall of the door?
It was found by the police in the driveway.
What happened to that other bullet, that second shot that you had?
I
You found
found it behind the bed.
The 2 bullets where you shot Greg Brown in the master bedroom, did you find any of those bullets?
I found one on the floor. I believe I threw it away.
The other one?
I believe it was recovered with Gregory.
And then the one about Megan that hit the wall, did you ever recover that one?
No.
The last thing I want to talk to you about is premeditation and planning. Mr. Matos, did you plan that when you returned to 7719 Hatteras Drive, that Nicholas Leonard would be there?
No.
Did you plan that he would have parked his car across the street?
No.
That he would have armed himself with a Kel-Tec pistol?
No.
Put a knife on the dresser?
No.
How about the dogs barking when you got to the top of the stairs?
No.
Was that planned? Did you plan for him to be hiding and put his hands on your throat?
No.
Did you plan for him to try to shoot you?
No.
Did you plan that you would fight for your life?
No.
Did you plan that Greg Brown would point his Winchester rifle at you?
No.
That the gun would jam?
No.
Did you plan that he would go to his closet and get another rifle?
No.
Did you plan that you would have Nicholas Leonard's gun to shoot him with?
No.
Did you plan that you would shoot Megan in the master bedroom?
No.
Did you plan on how you would feel after being attacked in your home?
No.
Did you ever plan on killing Margaret Brown, Tristan's grandmother?
No.
Was it part of your plan before August 28, 2014 to sell all this stuff on Craigslist and order pizzas?
No.
Did you plan on having to buy a shovel at Walmart to try to bury the bodies?
No.
Did you plan on dropping Margaret Brown as you were loading her into the van?
No.
Using zip ties to bind her arms so you could load her in the van?
No.
Did you plan on finding and using some old rope to move the bodies?
No.
Did you plan on the location where you eventually put the bodies?
No.
Had you ever scouted that location before August 28, 2014?
No.
Did you ever say, this is where I want to bury them?
No.
Did you plan on trying to put the bodies so close to the house?
No.
So close to the road?
No.
Waiting a week until the deputies were knocking on your door to finally leave that house at 7719 Hatteras Drive?
No.
Taking a cab to the Floridan Hotel in Tampa before August 28, 2014?
No.
Making that pit stop at the Circle K and getting food with your son Tristan?
No.
Was any of that a big premeditated part of your plan?
No.
Did you plan on this thing ending less than 50 miles where it began?
No.
Did you plan on having to tell your son Tristan goodbye in the Floridan Hotel and never seeing him again?
Counsel. I sustain that. Sustain. Twice.
No more questions.
All right. I assume, ladies and gentlemen, you need to use the restroom. So, would you like to take lunch now for an hour, or do you want to just take a short break, restroom break, so they can do the cross? It's up to you all. Restroom break. All right, we'll take them in the jury room. Remember, it's not over yet. All right, we ready to go? Bring the jury back in.
Jury's now entering the courtroom, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Jury's all present and seated, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. State, cross.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Matos, you were taken into custody by the police on the morning of September 5th, 2014, right?
Yes,
And you knew you were in trouble then, right?
yes,
You knew there was a problem, right?
Yes.
You knew that when you passed by with a taxi, there was a whole lot of police cars at the residence that you had just left with, where 4 people had died, right?
yes,
And Detective Kugel and Detective Kennedy, they sat down with you, right?
yes,
And they were nice to you, right?
yes,
We saw the video. They were polite. They told you you didn't have to talk to them, right?
yes,
And so you used that opportunity to tell them all the stuff you just told this jury, right?
not quite,
No, not at all, right?
no,
You told them something completely different than what you told this jury just now, right?
yes,
And then the Tampa Bay Times requested an interview of you, right?
yes, they did,
And you thought, you decided you wanted to do that, right?
yes,
The newspaper can't make you talk to them, right?
no,
And you said, yeah, no, I want to take this opportunity to set the record straight, right?
I don't believe that was my words, but I did speak to them.
You decided you wanted to go and speak to the reporters so that you could put your side of the story out there, right?
Actually, they approached me and I accepted to talk to them.
You accepted to talk to them, and you knew they were going to want to talk to you about this stuff, right?
Yes,
And you had another opportunity with them to set the record straight there, right?
yes,
And so you told them all the things that you just told this jury right now, right?
not quite, no,
No, not at all, right?
No.
In fact, you even tried to bring in an ex-girlfriend of Nicholas Leonard's as a possible suspect here, right?
possibly, maybe.
Possibly, maybe even, definitely, right?
I don't remember my exact words.
Hold on. Do we need to approve? The objection is overruled. If you want to re-ask the question, you may.
Right, Mr. Matos was definitely tried to cast some suspicion on an ex-girlfriend of Nicholas Leonard, right?
Possibly,
Possibly. Definitely. Right? Definitely.
Objection, argumentative.
Overruled.
I would have to take a look at the transcripts before I answer that question.
Okay.
Defense, do you have your own copy of that?
I don't believe I do.
Okay.
They have a copy of the form.
I know they have a copy of the whole tape. I'm just wondering if they have a copy of what you're looking at. Do you want to approach the witness?
Yeah, Judge, may I approach the witness?
You may.
So, Mr. Matos, would you agree with me that these are statements that you made to the Tampa Bay Times, highlighted in red there?
Seems to be true, what I said.
Okay. And in fact, you were indicating the Tampa Bay Times that this ex-girlfriend of Nick's was causing problems for Megan, right?
She was stalking her and leaving nasty messages.
Causing problems. In fact, you told Megan she should call the police about that.
I believe that was Megan's idea to call the police.
Well, let's see what you said to the Tampa Bay Times. You recall telling the Tampa Bay Times that you told Megan, you suggested that she should be calling law enforcement about that?
Possibly.
Overruled.
Let's see, just a little bit.
A statement in green right there. Did you make that?
Yes, I said, I told her to take care of it, call the cops.
Because you thought the ex-girlfriend of Nicholas Leonard was bothering Megan, right?
It appeared that she was.
And so your recommendation to her, your own statement was you should call the cops, right?
Yes,
Because that's what you do when there are problems, right?
right.
You call the police so that they can assist you and handle the situation, right?
Most of the time, yes.
Most of the time. Okay. Now, I believe you told this jury that you fled from 7719 Hatteras Drive when Deputy Silva knocked on the door because you were afraid he was going to kill you, right?
Yes,
And that when you also told this jury that when you spoke with Detective Kugel and Detective Kennedy and even the Tampa Bay Times, you were afraid people were going to kill you, right?
yes,
And so you decided to tell a lot of lies to them because you thought people were trying to kill you, right?
yes,
You understand we're trying to kill you, Mr. Matos. You understand that?
yes,
That's what we're doing here through this trial process, right?
yes.
But you're telling the jury that now you're being honest.
Objection, improper.
Approach. State may proceed.
Right, Mr. Matos?
What was the question again?
Now you're telling the jury, now you're being honest with them, right?
Yes,
All right, so let's go back to August 27, 2014. Megan goes to work that day. Do you agree?
yes,
Megan's doing a shift for most of the day to about 6 o'clock, right? You agree?
yes,
And then after that, she's going out with friends for a large part of the night. You agree?
yes,
And you're home, you have to watch your son all by yourself,
yes.
right? And during that time period, you weren't too happy about that, were you?
I enjoyed watching my son.
You weren't too happy about Megan being out when you thought she should be home with your son, right?
No,
That's not correct. What I said is not correct.
I don't understand.
All right. So you weren't upset with Megan for being out and not watching your son.
I was upset that she was out late. I had to work the next day.
Well, since you brought that up, let's bring that up. You actually hadn't gone to work since August 25th. You'd stopped going by August 25th to get hooked, right?
I don't remember the exact day, but I knew I took off while they were away on the KOA.
Okay. And by August 27th, you hadn't shown up. That job was already done, right? They had already told you not to come back.
They never told me not to come back.
Okay. And you'd only been working there for a week and a half, 2 weeks?
I can't remember the exact time, but maybe close to a month, maybe.
Okay, but you didn't actually go to work any time after August 25th, did you?
After August 25th? I don't believe so.
So August 28th, you didn't go to any shift to get hooked, did you?
No,
And no one was stopping you, were they?
no,
So August 27th, you sent Megan a number of text messages, didn't you?
yes,
And you tried to call her a number of times, didn't
Yes.
you? Now, all those text messages you sent her, you deleted from your phone before we could get to them, right?
yes.
So that we couldn't read them and see what they were, right?
I normally delete my texts when I'm done with them.
Okay, but you would agree with me that you were calling her names, you were cursing at her, and you were telling her she was a bad mother, right?
I don't remember exactly what I said.
Okay. Well, let's fast forward to after you came at her with a knife. And we'll talk about that in a minute. After you came at her with a knife, you continued to text her, didn't you?
I believe so.
I believe when you testified in front of this jury on direct, you said that after you left, you slept and smoked.
Yes,
But fact of the matter is, after you left, it was for a couple of hours, you kept texting and trying to call Megan Brown, right?
I believe so.
Now, do you remember what you were texting her at that point?
No, I don't remember.
Well, would it refresh your recollection if you read a text that Megan wrote to Jimmy Sigler about what you were texting her? Would that refresh your recollection?
I don't believe so. I don't know what she texted to him.
Well, you don't know, so would it help you to read the text to see what she said you were saying to help refresh your recollection?
Hold on. What's the objection?
The state is trying to refresh his memory with statements made by another person that could be inaccurate. I think that's improper.
It's not improper. You can refresh somebody's recollection with anything, whether they wrote it or not. You can tell me it does not refresh the recollection. Those statements will not be read to the jury. So we're not going to read them out loud, correct? We're just going to let Mr. Matos read them to himself.
We'll see.
Okay, Mr. Matos, if this refreshes your recollection of what you were texting to Megan, go ahead and read that. You don't have to read it out loud. Please read it to yourself.
Read that one, and then read this one. This one first.
I would say that it doesn't refresh my memory because it's not what happened.
So you're saying it doesn't refresh your memory at all?
No,
It doesn't help you at all what Megan was telling Jimmy Sigler you were texting her?
Objection, asked and answered.
I don't know what she told him. I just read those texts now, so I don't know
Mr.
how
Matos?
that's refreshing my
Hold on,
memory.
hold on a second. When your lawyer objects, you have to stop and not answer.
Okay.
Or then there's no reason for them to object, okay?
Okay.
So when they object, you have to stop so I can rule on that. I know this is a little complicated, but, so when they object, just don't answer the question, okay? So
Okay.
that's sustained. Now would have stopped anybody who answered anyway, so move on.
And Mr. Matos, I think you testified on direct that you didn't think Nick would be around anymore, right?
When?
After the knife incident, you didn't think Nick would be around anymore, right?
He told me that he was done with her.
Right. You had a conversation with him, according to you, because you're the only one left alive that can tell us about the conversation,
Improper testifying judge.
Overruled.
at 2 in the morning, where you claimed Mr. Leonard told you he was done with Megan, right?
Yes,
And so you didn't expect him to be a part of that anymore, right?
yes,
Except that you were calling him after the knife incident, weren't you?
yes,
You were trying to reach him about issues with Megan, right?
I just wanted to make sure that he was done with her because I was going to try to see if that me and Megan could work things out.
Oh, so you weren't sure that he was done with her yet. You wanted to call him and make sure.
I just wanted to make sure that he was serious about what he said, and I was going to try to work things out with Megan.
Okay. Well, in terms of the first conversation you had with Nicholas Leonard at 2 o'clock in the morning, that was about him telling you, stop bothering Megan and making her upset, right?
He said that he was going to stop talking to her.
No, he wanted you to stop trying to contact her, right?
That's not what he said, no.
Okay. So you guys had a 22-minute conversation where he was just telling you he was done with it.
Yes,
Now, Megan gets home, morning of August 28th, right? She walks into Tristan's room, fair? And
yes.
you were waiting for her there with the knife, weren't you?
No,
You weren't.
no.
You just started yelling and arguing.
We started arguing first, and that's when I pulled out a knife.
So that's when you pulled out a knife. You just pulled that out of your pocket and had the knife on you, right?
I believe I got it from the kitchen
Oh,
first.
so you walked from Tristan's room while all this arguing was going on, over to the kitchen to specifically get a knife so you could come back and threaten Megan Brown with it, right?
I was just holding it in my hand, and I just wanted her to tell me the truth. I wasn't planning to use it on her.
Were you making a sandwich with it?
No,
Were you cutting cheese with it?
No,
So you brought it out and pointed it at Megan Brown so that she would
I just had it. in
answer
my
your
hand.
questions?
I just had it in my hand.
Just had it in your hand. So you
Yes.
specifically went over to the kitchen to get a knife that you weren't actually using for anything and came back so you just have it in your hand while you're confronting Megan Brown about things you're upset about.
Yes.
Right? That's your testimony. Okay. And you're just holding it in your hand, and she felt the need to grab the knife, according to you, right?
Yes.
You never once held it up to her.
No.
You never once put it up to her throat.
No.
You never pointed it at her.
No.
You never told her you were going to use it to
No.
hurt her.
No.
You never threatened her in any way, according to you.
No.
But then, after you've been arguing, after you go get the knife, after you come back, after you don't threaten her, after she grabs the knife, then Tristan wakes up, right?
Yes.
And then when Tristan wakes up, that's when you leave, right?
Yes.
I mean, he was upset that his mother was upset. Is that fair? Overall? Is that fair?
I think he just woke up from the noises that we were talking loud, so he woke up.
And when he woke up, he was upset, right?
He didn't seem upset. He just seemed like he was tired and we had disrupted his sleep.
Okay. And so then you leave.
Yes.
You get on your bike, no shirt, right?
I had a shirt on.
You had a shirt on.
Yes.
And then you leave and you go find a random house to stay in the back of, right?
I just wanted to go cool off and give her some space.
So you wanted to go take some time and cool off. Is that fair?
Yes.
And you knew the law enforcement officers had come to the house,
I seen that they were going in that general direction.
and you knew what that was about, right?
I figured that it was because of that incident that occurred.
Okay, even though, according to you, you just went and got the knife to have it, not to threaten anybody, you knew that it was about what just happened with you and Megan. Fair?
I had a good feeling that it had something to do with that.
Okay. And you didn't go over there and say like, hey, I just want to clear this up. I was just holding the knife. You didn't do that, did you?
No.
You didn't try and make contact with him and say, oh, big misunderstanding, or this is what really happened, this is my side of the story. None of that, right?
No.
You just stayed over there in the back of the house, hiding. Is that fair?
Yes.
And you also know that there's a good chance that law enforcement have been there. Whenever they do catch you, or whenever they do catch up with you, that they'll arrest you. Is that fair?
Possibly.
So you knew that if you went back to the house, and Megan doesn't want you to be there, all she has to do is call law enforcement, and they're probably going to arrest you, right?
Possibly.
So you just ride your bike back over there?
I waited till like around 6:30 before I went back home.
And rode your bike?
Yes.
Where'd you park your bike?
I left it on the side of the house.
You didn't go park it in the garage where you normally do?
No.
You didn't park it in the driveway?
No.
You drove it onto the grass?
Yes.
Did you go through that fence area that surrounded that door, or did you fly over it?
I believe I stepped over the fence that was for the dogs, and the door was open, so I just walked in.
Okay, and the door, according to you, was wide open.
It was wide open, yes.
And walk me through how this happens next. So you go up the stairs,
Yes.
and you don't see any people,
No, just dogs.
just dogs. You go over towards the two bedrooms.
Towards
Is that
towards my bedroom that I shared with Megan.
Okay. And you still don't see any people.
No.
You didn't announce yourself.
Well, the dogs were barking, so I figured that they heard that I was there. My presence was known.
You didn't announce yourself as, hey, I'm back.
I usually don't announce my presence when I come into the house, so there was no need to.
Well, you knew there was just a substantial incident that occurred in the morning that law enforcement was there for, right?
Most likely, yes.
So you didn't feel the need to let everybody know, hey, I'm just getting my stuff. I'm just coming in peacefully.
Well, that's what I was trying to do.
But did you say that?
No, I didn't see anyone. There was
Did you
no
go try and knock on the front door or anything of that nature, like, hey guys, want to let you know I'm here, just want to get my stuff and say bye?
No, I didn't knock on the door.
Okay. So, and your testimony is that as you're walking to the southeast bedroom, Megan comes out
Yes, with Tristan.
with Tristan. Is she holding Tristan?
No,
Tristan's walking with her.
yes.
And say anything to you?
She just left the room.
She didn't ask you why you were there?
No,
You didn't ask her what was going on?
no,
You didn't tell her, hey, I just want to get my stuff?
no, I didn't have time to.
You didn't say, hey, I just want to say goodbye to Tristan?
No,
No, you just walked past her and went into the southeast bedroom.
yes.
Now walk me through step by step what happens next. So you walk into the southeast bedroom, and where exactly is Nicholas Leonard?
He came from the closet area.
Please indicate where you're talking about.
This would be the closet area in the room that I entered.
Was he in the closet?
I couldn't tell when I entered the room. Megan was just walking out with Tristan, so I was looking in her direction, and Nick came out of nowhere from that area.
Okay. And Nick say anything to you?
No, he just grabbed me by the neck.
Now, how tall are you, Mr. Matos?
I'm about 6'2".
And you're a fairly strong guy, is that fair?
I would say so, yes.
And Nicholas Leonard's about 5'9",
I believe so,
and your testimony is that he grabbed you by the throat.
yes.
What hand did he use?
His left hand,
He used only one hand?
yes.
And so he grabs you with his left hand, and then what happens to you?
His right hand goes into his right pocket, and he pulls out his pistol.
He still hasn't said anything to you yet.
No,
Did you say anything to him?
no.
You didn't ask him, hey, what are you doing here?
I couldn't speak because his hand was cutting off the air from my throat, so I couldn't speak.
So where are you standing when this is happening?
I was standing by the closet area.
So you're all the way over the closet area now.
That's where, when I walked in, he just came out of nowhere by the closet, so that's where he grabbed me by the throat.
So did he come to you, or did you go to him?
He came to me.
So he came to you, so you're more in the front, the front of the door area, right?
Yes,
Okay, so not by the closet area, you're over near the door.
by the closet area near the door.
Okay. And he grabs you with his left hand and pulls something out of his pocket with his right hand.
Yes.
Then what happens?
He pointed the gun at me, at my chest.
And what do?
I grabbed his wrist and I pointed the gun downwards away from me so he wouldn't shoot me.
And where are you in the room?
We were between the closet and the door.
And were you effective in moving the gun away from you?
At the time, I was able to point it towards the floor, away from my body.
And then you told him like, hey, I just want to get my stuff and get out, right?
I couldn't speak. Again, he was still holding my throat.
You couldn't say anything.
No.
You were unable to breathe,
Yes.
so you were choking now.
Yes.
Were you losing consciousness?
Not at that moment, no.
Okay, so now he's got you. What do you do next?
We struggled, we wrestled around the room, and we ended up by the dresser where I saw a knife that I was able to use to defend myself. I stabbed him in his arm.
Okay, where was the knife?
It was on top of the dresser.
It was on top of the dresser. And you're talking about the big tall dresser that you had moved before law enforcement got there, right?
I believe he was still in the same spot. It's a fairly heavy dresser.
Displaying states 160. When you're talking about this big dresser over here,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So you guys are wrestling on the ground, and then you reach up and get the knife on top of that dresser.
We weren't wrestling on the ground, we were just wrestling
Mr.
around the
Matos,
room.
remember that part where he objects and you don't start?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Objection is, Judge, counsel's mischaracterizing evidence. Mr. Matos has not testified he was on the ground in this room.
Okay, overruled. Mr. Matos can speak for himself. Mr. Matos, you want to rephrase the question? Go ahead. State, you might want to rephrase the question so he'll know he can answer.
So you're wrestling around with Nick, and then you reach up on top of that 5.5-foot dresser and get a knife.
we were wrestling around the room. We were still standing up, but when we ended up in that corner, I noticed there was a knife on top of the dresser.
What kind of knife was it?
It seemed to be a hunting knife.
One of the two knives that you threw in the canal.
Yes,
One of Greg's special hunting knives.
yes,
Just happened to be on top of that dresser.
yes.
Which one?
I believe it was the one with the curved point, curved tip.
Funny page 222.
No, not that one.
Okay, that one has a curved tip, right?
It's more like this, not a hook, but like a curved edge.
Page 224.
That would be it.
The antique hunting knife. According to you, you spent a lot of time in that room before that.
I lived in that room with Megan.
Had you ever seen that knife in that room before?
No.
Just happened to be there on this occasion.
Yes.
And so you grabbed the knife, and what do you do with it?
I used it to stab Nick in his left arm.
And then what?
He released his grip on my throat, and I dropped the knife, and I continued to get the gun out of his hand.
Okay. Did you stab him any more times?
No.
So only the one time to the arm.
It was about 3 times to the arm.
3 times to the arm.
Yeah.
It wasn't, and it was all the left arm.
Yes.
At this point, you're able to get his gun, right?
No.
What happens next then?
We continued moving around the room, and we ended up falling on the bed.
And the bed, that would be the bed that was up against that window, right?
Yes.
The bed that would have been right adjacent to the dresser, right?
Yes.
And you're on top of Nick. Is that fair?
He was on top of me.
He was on top of you.
Yes.
So you're on the bed, and he's on top of you.
Yes.
And how is he on top of you?
He threw his body weight on top of me when we were standing up. We fell on the bed.
He fell on the bed. Now, is he face to face with you?
Yes.
And where's the gun?
It's still in his hand.
And where is his hand?
His hand is right by my face, and he's trying to point it towards me, but I'm keeping his hand away from my face.
And to be clear, you guys are on a mattress on the floor at this point.
Yes.
And then what happens?
He took his fingers and he put it inside my cheek and started to rip at the flesh from the inside out, and he said, "I'm going to rip your face off."
While you are on the bed.
Yes.
And when he says that, what do you do?
At that point, Megan came in the room with Gregory, and she said, "Shoot him, Dad, shoot him."
She wasn't calling 911?
No,
She wasn't trying to get law enforcement?
no,
All she said was, shoot him. She
shoot
didn't
him.
say, shoot
She
Adam,
said,
did
she
she?
said, "Shoot him, Dad, shoot him."
Did she say, shoot Adam?
I'm assuming that she was talking about me.
Okay, but she didn't specify, did she?
No, but I did tell Greg, please don't shoot me, Greg, don't shoot me. She didn't say any different.
Okay, but you are underneath Nicholas Leonard at this point.
Yes.
He's on top of you.
He moved at that point when they came in, and she said that he moved out of the way, but he was still pinning me down, my lower body, and I was unable to move.
So you're down, and he gets up.
No, he just moved over a little bit to reveal my chest to Greg.
Okay, and where's his firearm?
Greg's or
Nick's.
Nick's is still in his hand.
And he has his firearm all to himself now?
It was always still in his hand.
Okay, do you have a hold of his hand?
I'm still holding his wrist.
With your right hand?
I believe it was my right hand.
Okay. And so you say, Greg, please don't shoot me?
Yes,
This is the first thing that you've said since you've got there.
yes.
You don't say, I just want to get my stuff and go?
At that point, I couldn't think of anything else but to ask Greg, please not to shoot me.
You still have the knife in your hand?
No, the knife was dropped on the floor after I stabbed him in the arm.
Where was it dropped on the floor?
Somewhere on the rug next to the bed.
Okay, because at that point there was a big rug on that wooden floor, right?
Yes,
It's the rug that you later wrapped Nicholas Leonard in and took him downstairs in, right?
yes,
The big rug that we found behind the silver van in the east garage.
yes,
Okay. So, knife falls on the floor, and you say Greg misfired not just once, but twice.
yes.
And then he leaves.
After the shot towards Nicholas, that's when he left the room.
After Greg shot towards Nicholas.
After I shot towards Nicholas, that's when Greg exited the room with me.
Okay, so you at some point get control of this firearm,
Yes,
and you shoot at Nick.
yes,
Is that the first shot that goes off?
no.
Okay. How does the first shot go off?
As I was pulling the gun out of his hand, a shot went off towards the wall.
Okay. And you are still on the mattress at this point?
Yes,
And Nick is still on the mattress right next to you at this point?
he's still pinning me down.
Okay. And we agree that the mattress was against this wall,
Yes, right in that corner here.
running lengthwise?
Yes,
So you now have the gun, shot has gone off, Nicholas Leonard is, according to you, wounded and kind of off to the side, right?
yes.
And then what?
Gregory and Megan ran to the master bedroom, to the closet that he had weapons in.
Okay, so you're in the southeast bedroom.
Yes,
They go off in a different direction.
yes.
You agree with me that while you're in the southeast bedroom, you can't see where they went, right?
I could see the direction that they ran to, and it seemed that they were running to the master bedroom.
Okay, and according to you, you've just been attacked, right?
Yes,
People have just tried to kill you, right?
yes,
So you took this opportunity to go and run out the front door, right?
no,
Because the front door is closer than the master bedroom, right?
yes,
You took this opportunity to go and run down the stairs to get your bike and get out of there, right?
no.
You had your phone on you the whole time, didn't you?
I believe my phone was somewhere. I must have had it in my pocket at that
Okay.
time.
And you agree you could have taken your phone out and called 911 and said, hey, I have a big problem here. There's people trying to kill me, right?
I believe my phone was dead at that time.
Okay. Well, you still could have gone out the front door. You agree?
I could have.
You could have said, wait, guys. Everything's fine. I'm leaving. I'm just getting my stuff and saying goodbye, right? You could have done that.
Possibly.
You didn't do that, though, did you?
No.
You pursued Greg and Megan, right?
Yes,
You pursued them into the master bedroom, right?
yes.
And were they both in the master bedroom closet?
Gregory was in the closet with another weapon in his hands, and Megan was in the room.
It was a different weapon now.
I couldn't tell.
Okay. So you don't know if it was a different weapon or not.
It could have been the same one or a different weapon, I'm not sure.
And you go in there and he's in the master bedroom closet. You actually have to go all the way over to that closet to know that he's in the master closet, right?
Yes,
So you go all the way over there to the master closet to check and see if he's there, right?
yes,
You pursue him all the way to that closet, correct?
yes,
And then he's got his back to you and you shoot him in the back, right?
yes,
He wasn't even facing you, right?
not at that moment, no.
He was facing the wall in the corner of that closet. Is that fair?
He was facing the wall opposite to the entrance of the closet.
Okay. So he didn't even know that you were there, did he?
I believe he did.
Okay. Well, did you announce yourself like, hey, Greg, I'm here. Just want to make sure you're not getting any weapons or anything. Did you say that?
He heard me come in the room.
So,
And
were you yelling?
no, I was not.
Were you screaming?
No,
So you weren't making any noise, right?
just the movements of my feet hitting the floor, entering the room.
Okay. So you believe that Greg heard you running there and still had his back turned to you as you shot him in the back from the doorway of the master closet.
As I shot him in the back, he was going to turn with his weapon in his hands.
Okay. He goes on the ground.
He turned around with the weapon in his hand, and that's when I shot him again
And you shot him in the chest this time.
in the chest.
2 shots.
One to the chest area, one to the back.
All right? So now you're at the doorway of the master closet.
Yes,
Fair?
yes,
And you turn around and you know Greg's not a problem, right?
at that point, no.
Well, you know he's down and shot, right?
Yes,
Right. But you don't know that he's not a problem, apparently. Fair? That's what you just said?
when he had the weapon in
Hold
his
on, hold
hand.
on.
Sorry.
Is there an objection is what?
You don't understand the question, it's a double negative. You don't know that he is not a problem.
Counsel, overruled. If Mr. Matos doesn't understand the question, he's on many occasions said, I don't understand the question, please repeat it. He can handle himself. If you don't understand the question, just say, please repeat the question. You've done a very good job up to now. You may proceed.
So you weren't sure whether or not Greg was a problem down there in the master closet floor, according to you, right?
I wouldn't know. He went down, so I believe that he was either dead at that point or just unconscious.
Or just unconscious?
I wasn't sure.
Okay. So then, Megan is hiding over in the corner, right?
Yes,
That little privacy wall.
yes,
And then you shot towards that direction.
yes,
Is that fair?
yes,
And then she actually came out because that shot didn't go through a corner and then enter her left eye.
yes,
Did it?
yes, it did.
Oh, you're claiming that you shot through a metal corner and that it still went in and penetrated her left eye without leaving any signs of the corner there, right?
It hit the wall and then it went into her eye.
The bullet hit the wall and then went into her eye?
Yes,
It ricocheted off the wall and then went into her eye.
yes,
You didn't stand there with the gun pointed at her left eye while she was saying, please don't, please don't.
no,
That never happened.
no.
Okay. And so Megan goes down to the ground, right?
Yes,
And did you go and check on her?
yes.
Did you go and check on Greg?
Not at that moment, no. I went to Megan's side to check on her, and that's when I just lost it completely.
Okay. And then you go back to Nick,
Yes.
and magically there's a hammer that appears.
But there was tools in the room, like power drills and a hammer.
In the southeast bedroom.
Yes.
Where in the southeast bedroom?
It was near the closet area.
Okay. So there's tools and a hammer in the closet area. So you go in there and you grab the hammer and you start beating Nicholas Leonard in the head.
Yes.
And he was still moving around a little bit at that point.
No, he was unconscious at that point.
Okay. You didn't call law enforcement and let them know, hey, there are 3 people here who need assistance.
No,
You didn't say, hey, law enforcement, 3 people just tried to kill me and they need your help right now, right?
no,
You didn't try to get any medical attention for Megan. You didn't try and get any medical attention for Greg. And you didn't try and get any medical attention for Nicholas Leonard, right?
no.
And Tristan was in the master bedroom when this happened, wasn't he?
No, he was in his bedroom.
He was in his bedroom
Yes,
by himself?
yes.
Was he locked in there?
I believe Megan told him to close the door.
When did that happen?
It must have happened while we were in the room.
It must have happened. Did you hear it happen?
No, I didn't hear it happen, but she must have told him to lock himself in the room because when I came over to the room, he was locked in there, so he must have locked himself in.
So you're just making stuff up now.
Well, I believe that she would try to protect him and tell him to lock himself in his room.
So you believe Megan would have done that even though you didn't hear or see any of that, right?
I would believe that she would want him to protect himself by locking himself in the room. That would be the logical thing to do.
Okay. You don't think Megan would have gone and grabbed him and kept him with her and gone in the master bedroom like what actually happened?
No.
Okay. So now, according to you, that's around 6:30, 7 o'clock in the afternoon.
Sometime around there.
And according to you, there were only 4 shots actually fired, or 5 shots actually fired.
5 shots.
Okay.
Mr. Matos, you gotta keep your voice up.
Okay,
Down and
sorry.
down and down.
And they were all from the same firearm,
Same firearm, yes,
the Caltech 380.
yes,
So 6:30, 7 o'clock, you're there by yourself with Tristan.
yes,
You didn't call anybody to try and help anyone there, right?
No.
You didn't call anybody to try and make sure that Tristan was okay through this whole thing, did you?
Tristan was fine, so there was no need to call for help.
And I think you said on direct, you went and you got angry at Nick because you were upset that Nick brought a weapon into the house. Those were your words, right?
Yes,
But you were aware there were several weapons in the house already, right?
yes,
You were aware there were several weapons already in the master closet, right?
yes,
In fact, you were aware that there were kitchen knives over in the kitchen that you could potentially use as weapons, right?
possibly,
Because that's what you had done that morning, right?
yes,
So you'd lived in that house for a period of time,
about 2
Right.
months,
and you knew Margaret had a job at Wawa.
yes.
You knew she worked a shift generally from 3 to 11 o'clock, right?
Her shift changed from time to time.
Okay, but you knew that that was one of her shifts, right?
I wasn't aware of her shift that week, but I knew that she did work certain days of the week, but I didn't know what times exactly.
Okay, and Margaret didn't get home until about 11:30 at night, right?
Sometime around there.
And so you're in the house by yourself for 4.5 hours with Tristan, right?
Sometime, yeah,
And you knew during that time that Margaret wasn't there.
yes,
You knew that the silver van wasn't there.
yes,
So you knew Margaret was out, probably at work, right?
yes,
And so then 11:30 at night, you know that's probably about the time I would expect Margaret back, right?
yes,
And so Margaret comes back, and according to you, you're up in the bedroom when that happens.
I don't remember where I was at that time.
You don't remember where you were when you heard Margaret coming back and you were afraid.
I was somewhere in the upstairs area.
Somewhere in the upstairs area. You can't narrow it down for us at all?
I can't remember, my memory's a little fuzzy, a little cloudy around that time.
Okay. Sounds like you remember all the things you want to remember really well, but then there's parts that you don't want to remember, like text messages you sent to Megan after the knife incident, right? Is that fair?
Objection, argumentative.
It's been a long
Compound
time.
question.
Sorry.
Sustained compound.
So Margaret gets home and she's just coming in from work, right?
I believe so, yes,
She's just walking from her van to get into the house, right?
yes,
She doesn't know any of the terrible things that you have already done, does she?
no,
But you arm yourself with a hammer and you go down to greet her, right?
yes,
And you didn't say, hey, Margaret, don't go upstairs, do you?
no,
You didn't say, Margaret, something really bad happened I need to tell you about.
no,
Did you?
no,
You didn't say, Margaret, I'm going to leave, have at it upstairs. Did you?
no,
You just greeted her by beating her head in with a hammer, right?
yes,
You agree with that?
yes,
And you'd already beat Nicholas Leonard's head in with a hammer, right?
yes,
So you knew at that point what a hammer does to a head when you hit somebody. How many times you hit Margaret?
I can't remember, it was a few times,
More than 5?
maybe,
And you knew, based on what you already did to Nick Leonard, what effect that would have on Margaret Brown, right?
yes,
Now, you agree with me that this extra bullet that you say went off in the southeast bedroom and any shell casings that would help us determine where the firearm was shot, you agree that you got rid of all that, right?
Most of it.
You moved all that so that nobody could find out exactly what you did and how you did it, right?
I didn't want Tristan being exposed to anything that might, just make him just mentally disturbed.
Well, you agree that there's a door to Megan's room,
Yes,
and there's a lock on that door
yes,
that I believe you testified on direct he couldn't reach, right?
yes,
And I think you even testified on direct that you could close the doors to the master bedroom, right?
yes,
And let's be clear, you spent a lot of time cleaning those two rooms, right?
yes,
It was not an hour or hour and a half thing. You spent a lot of time in both of those rooms cleaning up, right?
I don't know how long it was, but I did spend some time cleaning it up.
You moved a lot of items out of the southeast bedroom. You spent a lot of time mopping and cleaning up pieces of Megan's brain from the floor over the course of that week, right?
I don't remember picking up any parts of brain, but I did clean up the blood.
Okay, because there was a lot more blood in that master bedroom before law enforcement got there. Fair?
Yes,
And you agree that all took time to do,
yes,
and you had to make sure Tristan wasn't able to get in those rooms during that period of time, right?
yes,
And that's something you could do, right?
yes,
And you knew how to do that, right?
yes,
Simple lock on the door in one of the room's cases, right?
yes.
So keeping Tristan out of the rooms and exposed to that wasn't going to be a problem for you, was it?
At the time, I wasn't sure if he would try to find a way in, so I just wanted to clean it up just in case he did find a way in.
All right, instead of calling law enforcement to tell them, hey, all this terrible stuff just happened and people tried to kill me, right?
Yes,
So back to Margaret, you indicated that, and fair to say with Margaret, you only beat her in the head, right?
yes,
The only places that you beat her was about her head and face, right?
in her head.
Okay. And it's your testimony that you put the plastic bags on her head afterwards,
After she was dead.
after she was dead.
Yes,
And you didn't try and call for help for her after you realized, oh, I just killed Margaret,
no,
or I just hurt Margaret.
no,
No, you just put a bag over her head, because in your words, you didn't want to make a bigger mess, right?
I didn't want the blood getting everywhere.
Everywhere in the garage, right?
Yes,
You didn't put a bag over Nicholas Leonard's head, did you?
no,
And that was messier, right?
it was a little messy, yes.
And you didn't put a bag over Megan's head, did you?
No,
And you agreed that was pretty messy too.
yes,
And I think you testified at some point that you dropped Margaret and then blood went everywhere, right?
I don't know if blood went everywhere, but I did drop her.
You dropped her, and then that's how we result with the pool of blood behind the silver van, right?
I don't think that's where the pool of blood came from, but she did fall when I was trying to put her in.
Okay, so that, when you said on direct that she fell and then we ended up with all that blood on the floor, that wasn't what you meant.
I didn't say that's where the blood came from, but I did drop her.
Okay. And you'd agree with me that Margaret coming in from work, she didn't have any weapons.
No,
She didn't say anything to you about, I'm going to kill you or I'm going to hurt you, did she?
no,
She didn't even see it coming, did she?
no,
And she struggled. She tried to get into the doorway of the stairwell, right?
I believe so.
And you pulled her back into the garage and ultimately into the east garage, right?
When we were in the west garage, that's where I hit her in the head.
Okay. Let's look at some of that. States 370, you agree with me that back wall, that area, that's where he started to attack Margaret?
Somewhere in that area.
She's putting her hands on her head, trying to figure out what just happened, right?
I don't know. It was dark when it happened. There was no lights working in that garage.
Stage 383. She fell against that wall right there. That's her handprint in her blood,
Possibly.
right? And then you hit her in the head while she was struggling to stay up against that wall, right?
Possibly, yes.
Not possibly, definitely.
Most likely.
And then she's trying to make her way into the residence, right?
I believe so.
And if she's trying to make her way into the residence, you're pursuing her, right?
Yes.
You keep hitting her with a hammer, right?
Quite a few times.
Page 112. And you agree with me, she was grabbing on to this door frame right there with her bloody hands, trying to prevent you from pulling her back into the garage, right?
No, I don't believe so.
Those aren't her finger marks?
No.
Well, those aren't your finger marks, are they?
They might have been.
They might have been your finger marks holding on to the
No.
door frame?
They might have been my fingerprints when I was cleaning up. Maybe I got blood on my hands and touched the door. But I don't believe those are hers.
You held on to the door frame like that?
Possibly. When I was coming in up the stairs.
Okay. Well, then, you drag her into the east garage. You agree?
Yes.
And that's her handprint right there on the wall as you go into the east garage, right?
I don't know.
Okay. Well,
It was dark when this happened, so I can't really tell what happened.
she was holding on to that wall trying to keep you from pushing her into that east garage, right?
I can't tell. I can't really say for sure.
She was struggling with you.
We had a struggle in the dark when it happened, but I don't know what parts of the wall were touched because it was dark.
She was trying to stay alive, right?
Yes.
But you had a different intention there, right?
Yes.
You wanted to make sure she was going to die, right?
At that time, I felt like my life was in danger, and I was so out of it that I reacted without thinking.
You thought enough to bring the hammer with you, though, didn't you?
I brought a weapon to defend myself.
Now, after you kill everybody in the house, fair to say that you didn't have a whole lot of money of your own,
No.
right?
No.
You had to start selling a bunch of stuff so that you could accumulate enough money so that you could eventually leave, right?
Well, I had a check, but I didn't cash it yet, so I didn't have any cash, so I figured if we could give the dogs a good home to live in, we would, have some money for some food for Tristan.
Because that was your only concern, is a good home for the dogs, right?
Well, I wanted to get a good home for the dogs. I couldn't care for them, and I just wanted to get money for Tristan so he could have something to eat.
Okay. So you started selling TV.
Yes.
Tried to sell the entertainment center.
Yes.
Tried to sell some of Margaret's jewelry. You tried to sell, or you did sell a number of the dogs, right?
Yes.
And people would come up and you tell them lies about why you were selling the dogs, right?
I don't remember what I said, but I think, I said we were just, trying to get rid of the dogs.
Okay. And you tried to sell the Bose speaker, right?
Yes.
And all this is to try and generate some cash.
Yes.
Now, if you have enough cash, then you can go somewhere else, right?
I didn't know where I was going to go to, but for the time being, I just wanted to have enough to survive.
And in the meantime, if you can clean up the scene and erase any trace of Nicholas Leonard being there, maybe no one will know what you did, right?
Not exactly. I was just trying to clean it so Tristan wouldn't be exposed to it.
Well, I think we've already established you could just shut the doors in order to keep
Right.
it from being established.
Well, I knew it was-
exposed to it, right?
I knew it was a matter of time before law enforcement got involved. I was just trying to stay alive and keep Tristan out of harm's way.
Now, you don't want to drive the van around too much because you knew that was Margaret and Greg's vehicle, right?
Right.
And if you happen to get pulled over in that vehicle, there'll be questions about that.
Yes.
You couldn't take Megan's vehicle because it happened to have a flat tire when you went and got it, right?
Yes.
And did you try and get it on Friday when it was blocked in, or did you wait till Saturday morning?
Try to get what?
Did you try and get Megan's vehicle on Friday and
Friday?
were prevented from doing so because it was blocked in?
I don't remember what day it was exactly, but I know it was sometime around that weekend, and it was at nighttime, so there was no cars in that parking lot. It was empty.
Okay, or maybe the morning daylight hours, right?
I didn't
Between
go.
8:30 and 9:30 in the morning?
I didn't go in the morning, daytime. I only went at nighttime when Tristan was sleeping.
Okay, because you wouldn't go between 8:30 and 9:30 in the morning, right? Because Tristan would be awake.
Well, I did it. I just happened to do it at nighttime, and it seemed like a okay time to do it while Tristan was sleeping.
Okay. And you agree that you hung out with Ryan McCann and Alan McCann multiple days,
A few times.
and you asked Ryan McCann about security videos, right?
It got brought up when he told his brother that he made home porn videos with cameras that he had hidden around the house.
I'm sorry. Did you just say that it came up when he told his brother he made home porn videos?
Yes.
Okay. So, according to you, Ryan McCann tells his brother he was making home porn, and so you asked him if he has surveillance.
Well, he said he had hidden cameras, and I asked him about his home porn. I thought it was a weird subject to bring up, and I was just, asking questions, just being part of the conversation, and he said he had home surveillance around the house.
Okay. And you just left it at that.
We just left it at that.
You had no other interest in whether or not Mr. McCann had surveillance.
No.
You had no interest in knowing whether or not Mr. McCann had surveillance cameras that might have caught you disposing of the murder weapons, right?
I wasn't really thinking about that, no.
Okay. How about when Ryan McCann asked you about whether or not where the family was?
I believe I told him that they were away on vacation or something along those lines.
So you never told him, like, yeah, there was a big problem, they all tried to kill me, it was really bad, right?
No, I didn't want to involve him in that, and I didn't want him to be a threat to me as well. If I was to tell him that, I didn't want to put Tristan or myself in further danger.
No, so you decided to lie to him because he might be a threat to you.
I felt he didn't need to know at that time.
Okay. So for no good reason then, you just decided to tell him something that was completely false,
Yes.
right? Okay. Now, on Tuesday, you agree you had piled a lot of trash bags out at the curb, right?
I don't know what day it was exactly, but I did put trash on the curb.
Well, you knew that the trash picked up on Tuesday, right?
I believe so. That was the day, yeah.
And that's why you would put all the trash bags out on the curbs, because you knew the trash pickup was that day. Is that fair?
On Tuesday, I don't believe I got the trash out to the curb. Tuesday.
Okay, so
Because it was in the garage, those bags.
you didn't, there were no bags that were taken by the trash man away from the house that,
Not on, I don't believe so, not on that day, because the bags that were in the garage never made it to the curb.
Okay, I agree with you. The bags in the garage, we can all agree, never made it to the curb.
Right.
But prior to those bags, there were bags that made it to the curb.
Yes.
You agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, and you knew what the trash day was because you knew when to put all those bags out.
Correct.
And in those bags were a lot of the things that you had been cleaning up, right?
Yes. Yes.
A lot of things that you were disposing of,
Right.
right? You had to get rid of Margaret's shoes, right?
Anything that had blood on it, I didn't want Tristan being exposed to it, so I just threw it away.
So Margaret's shoes, she actually kicked her shoes off while you were trying to tie her feet together, right?
Most likely.
Okay. So you agree with me on that?
Yes.
Good. So she didn't have her shoes on anymore, and you disposed of those, right?
Yes.
Now, Friday, you go get the shovel. You did that because you were going to bury the bodies. You agreed with that, right?
Yes.
You were going to try and bury them out in the yard, right?
Yes.
If you could hide the bodies and get rid of the evidence from the scene, maybe nobody knows what you did, right?
No.
No?
No.
That wasn't a consideration. We were calling on the 28th, right?
I believe so.
Okay. And you had Greg's phone?
Yes.
And you had Megan's phone?
Yes.
And you had Nick's phone?
Yes.
Now, Greg's phone actually had some family members try and contact him on that phone, right?
Yes.
And you responded to them by text message, didn't you?
I don't remember doing so.
You don't remember doing that?
No.
You don't remember responding to his son that you love him?
Possibly.
That possibly happened?
Yes.
You agree with me that that actually did happen?
Yes.
Okay. And you did that because you were trying to avoid detection from the things that you had done, right?
Well, I was, still out of my mind at that time, and I was in shock, and I didn't want people coming to the house trying to kill me.
Well, that was days later that you sent that text with Greg's phone, right?
Most likely.
That was like September 1st or September 2nd, right?
Possibly, yes.
Okay. And I think you just told this jury you don't want people coming to the house because they might kill you.
I don't
right?
want people coming into the house.
That's what you just told them, right?
Yes.
But you were freely having people come to the house to sell stuff to them, right?
Yes.
Okay. I want to be clear on that. And you agree you took the shovel out to Old Dixie Highway because it was your intention to try and bury the bodies out that way, right?
I didn't attempt to bury the bodies at that point. I just had the shovel in the van. I just happened to throw it in there.
You just happened to throw the shovel in with 4 bodies that you were trying to dispose of.
Yes.
It happened to be that.
I threw it in there just in case, but I never used it to bury the bodies.
Okay. Because it was hard work moving all those bodies, right?
Yes.
It was hard work dragging them all out to where you left them, right?
Yes.
It would have been a lot more work to actually move them around more or bury them, right?
Yes.
And you figured this is good enough. It's a dead end. Nobody can see it. I'm going to leave them here, and people won't be able to find them, right?
Yes.
And you indicated you cut the top off the pillowcase top off the mattress, right?
Yes.
It was your intention that that stuff was going to go out in the trash.
I was going to attempt to put it out on the trash, but I never got to doing so.
You didn't get that far because the next trash day wasn't until Friday, right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so you didn't have the opportunity to put all that stuff out at the curb yet,
No.
right?
No.
You hadn't gotten to the southeast bedroom by the time the first trash pickup had occurred, right?
No.
So you cut off the pillow top mattress. I believe your words on direct were you didn't want people seeing blood, right?
Yes.
Because you knew if people saw blood, they might find out what you did, right?
Or they might try to hurt me.
Oh, they might try and hurt you but really it was because they would detect your crime, right?
I didn't want anybody seeing blood on a mattress, so I just cut it off.
You don't want anybody seeing blood on the mattress,
No.
right? Because again, it might tell them the terrible things that you did to the people in that house, right?
Possibly, yes.
And you brought up, as often as you could, that Tristan is all you have left. Those were your words, right?
Yes,
You agree with me, you have a mother in California, right?
yes,
And at the time you had a brother and sister-in-law who are also in California, right?
distant relatives, yes,
Oh, distant in distance, but people that you could talk to on a regular basis, right?
yes,
And in fact, people who have continued to talk to you since this has happened, right?
yes,
They've continued to be there for you.
yes.
Okay. And Mr. Matos, you indicated, I remember you saying on direct, the story the state is trying to hide from you. You remember using those words?
Yes,
The story that the state is trying to hide from you were your words, right?
yes,
But you agree with me that the story you have just told this jury, you have had 3 years, more than 3 years, and the entire time of watching the evidence come by in this trial to come up with the story that you told them, right?
it was the truth.
Okay, but you've had all that time to think about exactly what you were going to tell them, right?
Yes,
To be clear, this isn't something that you came and told us that we are trying to hide from anybody, is it?
I believe that you're trying to hide most of the facts that happened in this case, as far as the truth.
Okay. But in terms of having your own opportunity to tell law enforcement and tell the news what happened, you agree you hid what was happening, right?
I did.
Okay. Now, it's your testimony on direct. You're getting these phone calls in the Florida Inn hotel room telling you you need to change rooms, right?
Yes,
And according to you, you went and hugged your son goodbye before you went out of the hallway, right?
yes,
And you would agree with me that you walked out and you didn't know law enforcement was going to be there, did you?
I had a feeling that they were.
You had a feeling that they were. So once again, when you told the Tampa Bay Times reporter, because he asked you questions about the SWAT team, right?
Yes,
When you told the Tampa Bay Times reporter you were shocked that they were there, that was another lie.
I was shocked to see them.
You were shocked to see them.
Yes,
So which is it, Matos? Were you shocked to see them, or did you have a feeling they were going to be there?
I had a feeling that something was strange going on when I got the call to change rooms, but I wasn't sure whether the cops were there until I actually saw the SWAT team. I was shocked to see a bunch of people in black attire and, carrying weapons.
Okay. Now, in terms of moving the bodies, you would agree with me, Margaret was probably the lightest, right?
She was a little heavier than Megan.
Okay, well, Margaret is significantly shorter than Megan was, right?
She was.
She was?
She was
Yes.
shorter, yes.
Okay. And in terms of picking up and lifting, Margaret's probably going to be the easiest one to move, right?
I wouldn't say so. She was a little meatier than Megan was.
Okay. And I believe it was your testimony that you used ropes on all the other 3 bodies after Margaret, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, move on.
You may.
And Mr. Matos, we talked about the 4 cell phones, right?
Yes,
Remember that?
yes.
So whose cell phone is the cell phone that you threw in the canal?
I don't remember.
Okay, but you agree it was either Megan's or Nick's.
Yes,
Fair to say it was probably Megan's, right?
probably.
Now, you didn't just throw that cell phone in the canal, did you?
I don't believe so.
No, you actually, did you take a hammer to it or did you stomp on it?
I don't remember. I just remember crushing the screen.
Okay, you did a little bit better than crushing the screen, didn't you? You agree?
I crushed the screen. That's all I can remember.
I mean, you crushed the entire thing. You agree?
Yes,
So you weren't just disposing of this, you're trying to make sure that no information could be recovered from this. Right?
right.
Because you definitely want to make sure that a jury would never get to read the text messages that you sent to Megan
At the
on August
time,
28, 2014.
at the time, I was probably just upset, and I just crushed it out of anger.
You were probably just upset and crushed it out of anger.
Yes.
Was it trying to kill you?
No.
Okay. I don't have any more questions, Judge.
Redirect?
No more questions, Your Honor.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, at this time, if you will go ahead and put your papers away, I'll release you to go to lunch. I'll have you back in the jury pool room at 2:10, okay? Again, we're not done. We're almost there, but we're getting closer.